Hey, I want to welcome you to my first video. It's the Jason Gray Show. The topics we're going to talk about is going to be a range from everything. Local politics, national politics, sports, just something that I see on the news, something that I think is interesting, and I'll actually just sort of dive into it and try to think about what I want to talk about. So that's what this channel is going to be all about. So hopefully you can like and subscribe, take a look at it, and tell me what you think. So give me your comments. Obviously, this is my first video, so give me some constructive criticism. Would be fabulous. So I want to talk to Krystal, Saagar, and Tim. I respect the three of you, and I want your input in regards to this whole Joe Biden thing. So I haven't heard anyone really talk about this yet, and I think it's worthwhile to talk about now since we're so close to the election. I think we're 10 days or 11 days away from the election. So let's talk about, and I want you guys to think about this, what happens if Joe does become elected? And let's say he is our next president. And these allegations against Joe Biden and his son Hunter and his family is actually legit. What does impeachment sort of look like? And if there is real information in regards to the emails, the text messages, and it lines up to coming back to Joe, what does that look like for our nation as the future? And then there were some talks yesterday in regards to Kamala Harris being a person of interest that they were talking about as well. So how does that tie into things? Does she have something? So let's say they do impeach Joe. And of course, remember, the FBI have had this information since December of 2019 when Donald was being impeached by the House. So how does that look? Does Joe get impeached? Then Kamala becomes the president? Well, what happens if she's involved with it? Might not be. There's not enough evidence on it yet, but let's talk about it. And then you have Nancy Pelosi, who's 80 years old, and at the time will be 81 years old. Can she really run the country? She's been a little irrational lately. Something to think about. So we talk about, Hunter Biden's emails, his text messages. You see Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani come in there and talk about the child endangerment aspect of what he saw in those emails. There's 24,000 emails. And then last night, before the debate, you had the gentleman that worked with Hunter come out there and actually state his side of things. And not only that, he had 3 phones he was going to give to the FBI today. So I'd like to get your input on a little bit on this. A couple other things to take a look at. We're so close to the election. How much does this matter? I know that you guys have all talked about that pretty much everyone is in their court. But I'm really interested why the Trump campaign hasn't really talked about how this could actually affect if for some reason, I know they probably don't want to say, yeah, if Biden becomes elected, then you got to worry about this. But is there a dialogue to have there? Or is that giving out your cards a little bit, saying, hey, I'm not going to win the election? I know you're trying to be strong and all, but this could be something to really consider in regards to the electorate. At some point in time, of course, they're going to have to paper trail this money, where the money came from, wire transfers, whatnot. We talked about the Russian money from the retired mayor. We all know about the Chinese money. We know about the Burisma money. Of course, we know about his history. Unfortunately, you're bringing Hunter into the whole mix. So all that type of stuff, where's it line up at? The really disconcerting thing is that the FBI has had this information the whole time. Why hasn't the FBI come out and said, hey, we're going to press charges against Joe Biden? Is there really not enough information on these emails? It'll be interesting to see how they do that, because if you go all the way to the election and the FBI has had this information the whole time, but they didn't release it, not only about the national media not releasing this information, like you totally see the complete bias in regards to NBC, ABC, MSNBC, CNN, all these guys not dialing into and actually at least considering it. If this was the Trump campaign or the Trump kids, trust me, they'd be talking about it. And we all know this. We're not all stupid here, right? We can always figure that out. A couple other things to talk about. I think that's about it for my first video. I would like to get your guys' input. Hopefully you like the show. Like I said, subscribe, do all your neat stuff, and I'll look forward to your guys' input. Thank you very much.